Welcome to the Healing Waves Reiki podcast. I'm your host, Kathy Scarpito, Reiki Master Teacher, spiritual mentor, intuitive, and physical therapist. This is a grounded, heart-centered space where we explore Reiki, energy, and the science and spirit of healing. How Reiki supports the body, deepens intuition, regulates the nervous system, and helps transform the experience of healing. Where Reiki meets science, intuition meets practice, and healing becomes more human. If you're curious about Reiki, drawn to deeper healing, or seeking a more connective and intuitive way to care for yourself or others, you're in the right place. Let's begin. Have you ever noticed that you can observe your thoughts? You can witness your emotions. You can even notice your body hurting, exhausted, anxious, or calm. Which raises an interesting question. If you can observe all those things, who is the observer? Most of us were taught that we are the body, a brain, a personality, a collection of memories and experiences. But what if the body is something more? What if it's not who we are, but the vehicle through which we experience human life? And before you immediately label this as spiritual or woo-woo, stay with me. Because even neuroscience shows us that the body is constantly receiving, processing, and responding to information outside of conscious awareness. Your heart changes before conscious thought. Your nervous system scans for safety before your mind catches up. Your body stores patterns, memories, emotions, and reactions. The body is intelligent. But maybe intelligence and consciousness are not exactly the same thing. And maybe, just maybe, human life is less about being the vehicle and more about learning how to drive it. As a clinician, I've always been fascinated by the intelligence of the body. The autonomic nervous system regulates thousands of processes every second without us consciously thinking about them. Breathing, heart rate, digestion, hormonal responses, temperature regulation. Your body is constantly adapting, protecting, recalibrating, and communicating. And yet most people are taught to see the body almost mechanically, like a machine. If something hurts, silence it. If something feels uncomfortable, override it. Push through exhaustion. Ignore stress. Disconnect from sensation. But the body is not just a machine. It's a communication system. Symptoms are often information. Emotions create physiological responses. Thoughts change chemistry. Stress changes posture, breathing, immune response, and pain perception. The body is always talking. The question is whether we've learned how to listen. But there's another layer to this, because even though the body is intelligent, most of us had had moments where we felt like something deeper was observing the experience itself. Maybe during meditation, maybe during grief, maybe during trauma, maybe standing in nature, maybe after losing someone you love, maybe during a moment so still and profound that time itself felt different. Moments where you suddenly realize, I have thoughts, but I am not my thoughts. I have emotions, but I am not only my emotions. I have a body, but maybe I am not just the body. And interestingly, this idea appears across countless cultures and traditions throughout history. Different language, different frameworks, but similar themes. That consciousness may move through the human experience rather than being limited entirely to it. Not as something I'm asking you to blindly believe, but as something humanity has been exploring for thousands of years. There's a phrase you may have heard before, Earth School. The idea that life itself is a place of learning. And honestly, whether you see that spiritually, psychologically, or symbolically, it's hard to ignore how much being human teaches us. Love teaches us. Loss teaches us. Pain teaches us. Relationships teach us. Failure teaches us. Healing teaches us. Sometimes the experiences we would never choose become the experiences that transform us most deeply. And maybe that's part of the reason we're here. Not to become perfect, but to experience, to learn, to grow, to remember, to reconnect, to evolve emotionally, spiritually, psychologically, maybe even collectively. And if the body truly is the vehicle for that experience, then the body deserves far more respect than most of us give it. Because this body carries us through every lesson, every heartbreak, every nervous system response, every joyful moment, every fear, every transformation. I think one of the biggest causes of suffering right now is disconnection. People are disconnected from their bodies, disconnected from stillness, disconnected from intuition, disconnected from themselves. We live from the neck up, constant stimulation, constant information, constant noise. And many people no longer know what their body actually feels like until it forces them to pay attention. Through burnout, anxiety, pain, exhaustion, illness, emotional overwhelm. But what if the body was never working against you? What if it's been communicating all along? Not just biologically, but intelligently. Not weakness, not betrayal, not failure, communication. And maybe healing begins the moment we stop treating the body like a machine and start relating to it like a partner. So no, I don't claim to have all the answers. I can't scientifically prove that life is Earth School. I can't prove consciousness exists outside the body, but I do think there's value in asking deeper questions, because sometimes the questions themselves change us. And maybe the goal isn't to escape being human. Maybe the goal is to fully experience it, to care for the vehicle, to listen to it, to learn from it. And maybe the body is not just flesh and chemistry. Maybe it's the temporary interface through which consciousness gets to experience what it means to be alive. And whether you see that spiritually, scientifically, or somewhere in between, I think there's something profoundly healing about remembering. You have a body, but maybe you are more than the body. If this episode resonated with you, share it with someone who's been exploring these deeper questions too. Until next time, take care of your body. Listen to what it's trying to tell you and stay curious. Thank you for listening to the Healing Waves Reiki podcast. If this episode resonated with you, share it with someone who may need it. Subscribe and leave a review so more people can find this work. Until next time, stay grounded, stay open, and keep healing. This podcast is intended for informational, educational, and inspirational purposes only. The content shared on this podcast is not medical, psychological, legal, or professional advice, and is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any condition. Always seek the guidance of a qualified healthcare provider, mental health professional, or other licensed professional regarding your specific needs. The views expressed by guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect those of the host. Listener discretion and personal responsibility are advised.